By the title of the video, you already know what this is. Alright, so this is the lift here. This is the 4-inch Black Raptor Sport lift kit. We have the 4 springs here, the 4 shocks, 2 Castor corrected arms because this is a 4-inch lift, and we also have a prop spacer to go with the arms. If you want to pick this up, you could pick it up on jimnybits.com. I will have the link for all of the products that I use in the description, so you can check that out. Alright, so I'm using these blocks to give the jack stand some extra height. So when you do the diff drop, we'd have enough clearance to clear the extra long 4-inch springs. Alright, so the wheels are out. Next step is to remove the caliper and hang it here so that we could clear the brakes line when we're doing the diff drop. Alright, so caliper out of the way. So now it's time to undo the shock bolts and remove that. Alright, so we remove everything from the diff. We remove the caliper, we remove the steering link, the Panhard bar, we remove the vacuum lines. We remove these vacuum lines. So everything off from the diff. Next step is to drop it and remove the springs. Alright, so springs out. I did install these 1-inch spring spacers to compensate for the drop due to the weight of the winch. I'll be adding back these since I already have them. Alright, so we removed the old springs and shocks. You can see the difference here with the height. So that's one side, this is the other. Alright, and that is the shock difference there. The old one was a 2-inch Black Raptor lift, the regular one, and the new one is a 4-inch Black Raptor Sport. The difference between these two lifts is that the dampers in the Sport version is a little bit stiffer than the dampers on the original version. And also, this one is 45 centimeters from the eye to the pin on top, and this one is 51 centimeters from the eye to the pin on top. This is the difference between the springs, the spring height. The springs come labeled, so according to the instructions here, the one labeled with 3000 goes on the passenger side, and the one labeled with 3100 goes on the driver side. We're going to install the new shock, so we go in washer, bushing, then we'll install it and we'll do bushing on top, washer, and then nut. Alright, so time to install the new springs. You want to make sure that the closer loops is on top and the wider one is below. And also, we're going to be putting on back our 1-inch spring spacers. If you want these, you could pick them up on jimnybits.com. These are SuperPro, and I'll put the link in the description for them as well. I should mention that this end, there's a little notch on the spring seat. You want to make sure that they both line up. Also, to run a 4-inch suspension lift, you're going to need extended brakes line. You could find that on jimnybits.com as well. So let's do the next side. Alright, so we just rest the springs in and the shock absorbers. So now it's just time to reverse the process and reassemble the front axle. Alright, so I just finished mounting back the front axle and that is very tall. Like, look at that wheel gap. Right, so real excited. We still have to do the back and then we have to change the arms, and I also have to put back on the front Panhard bar. But for now, that's the height we're sitting at for the front. So let's take out the back springs and put in the new ones. Alright, so the wheels off from the back. Next step is to undo the bottom bolt and the top bolt of the shock and remove both of them. And I'll also remove the Panhard bar one time and drop the diff. Hopefully the brakes line here long enough to give me enough drop to get the springs in and out. If not, we'll have to disconnect that. We'll see how it goes. Let's take out those two shocks now. I can't reach the top of these shocks, so I'm gonna drop the diff and remove the springs, and I'll get more space to remove the top mount of the shocks. Right, so the old springs are out and this is a comparison to the new one. So this is the height difference for the springs, old one, new one, 2-inch, 4-inch, and these are the size difference for the dampers. This is the 2-inch lift and this is the 4-inch lift. The 2-inch measures 50.5 centimeters and the 4-inch measures 56 centimeters from eye to eye. Right, so let's install the new one on the Jimny. Alright, so putting on the new springs, same thing as the front. The one and spacer going on top, and then we want to make sure that the notch here line up with the notch on the spring seat. Alright guys, so this is the new ride height. Really loving it. But before we button up everything, we have to replace the stock radius arms with these Castor corrected radius arms. Alright, so these are the arms here. This one is the front one with the Castor corrected bushings. This is the rear, and this one is the new one. So what I want to do is I'm going to remove this bushing from the front one, put it in the new one, remove these two bushings from the back, put it in the new one, and put the Castor corrected bushings and the one in the back. So that way the new one would have all straight bushings and the back arm would have the Castor corrected bushings. Alright, so I just got the bushings pressed. I had to go by a machine shop to get it done. You can see the new arms have all straight bushings and the rear arms have Castor corrected on the diff and straight bushings on the body side. So if you want to pick up these bushings, these are poly bushings. The orange one is Black Raptor and the Castor corrected one is SuperPro. You could pick up all of these bushings on jimnybits.com. Alright, so it's the next day. We got the 4 arms installed. We got the 2 in the back and the 2 in front. So this is how the van looks. The next step, what I want to do is extend the front Panhard bar and the rear Panhard bar and get that installed so we can center the axle with the body. There we have it. We installed the 4-inch Black Raptor suspension lift on the Jimny. This puts the Jimny at a total of 7 inches higher than stock because we have the 4-inch suspension lift, we have 1-inch spring spacers, and we also have a 2-inch body lift installed. So with that lift, I think I'll be fitting bigger tires. If we could fit 33-inch, we'd fit that, because we have the extra wheel clearance now with the additional lift. We have a lot of clearance in front and back. So if we could fit the 33s, we'll install it. Also, if you learned something or if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, leave some good vibes in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.